Could you explain the origins of the Bene Jewish community in India? How their roots compare with those of other Jewish groups like the Cochin Jews and the Baghdadi Jews? Is there any actual historical and genetic study suggesting how these distinct Jewish communities emerged and evolved in the Indian subcontinent? Okay, so the Bene Israel Jews are the Maharashtrian Jews. They live on the west coast of India, you know, Maharashtra region. Then you have the Cochin Jews, who are Kerala Jews. And then you have the Baghdadi Jews, who came much later. So, what's the origins of the Bene Israeli community? It is said that around 2100 or 2200 years ago, a group of Jewish people was shipwrecked on the west coast of India. And that happened to be the Maharashtra region, what is today the Maharashtra region. And 7 couples survived. 7 Jewish couples survived. And they settled down in Western India, in Maharashtra. And their descendants are the Bene Israeli. So their roots go back about 2100 or 2200 years ago. So it corresponds with the Seleucid Empire. A time when the Seleucid Empire was oppressing the Jews in their homeland. Yeah. Who was it? Which was the king? Antiochus something? No, whoever it was. So yeah, that's the origin. That's said to be the origin of the Bene Israeli community. And for 2000 plus years, they have been in India, and they have become super Indianized. They don't even look Israeli or Jewish. They look like Indians, but they continue to practice certain aspects of Judaism, like Shema Israel. Shema is the prayer. So they would do the prayer. They would do circumcision or whatever that is. So certain Jewish practices they were able to remember and continue. And they observed Shabbat, which is they don't work on Saturday or something, whatever it is. And they were able to live in India, prosper, thrive, and they became super Indianized over time. And later, some Jewish people who came to India much later discovered this group of people who are practicing Judaism, but who have become Indian, and they reintroduced some other ways of Judaism to them, and that's a story. Genetically, there have been some studies. I don't have the exact studies with me right now, but that kind of those studies do indicate that these people have mixed ancestry, significant Indian ancestry, but also ancestry from West Asia, and that ancestry dates back to about roughly 2000 years ago. So the Bene Israeli are indeed of West Asian, probably Jewish ancestry, and they have been in India for over 2000 years, and they have thrived in India for over 2000 years. The Cochin Jews are said to be even older, an even older Jewish population. According to their folklore, they either come from the time of King Solomon, that is said to be about 900 BC, or maybe the time of the Babylonian exile, which is the 6th century BC or something. So around that time, they came to India and they settled down in Kerala. So they've been in India for a very, 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 very long time. And about 500 or so years ago, there was the expulsion of the Iberian Jews from Spain as part of the aftermath of the Reconquista, which happened in 1492 or thereabouts. You can look up the dates. Reconquista. And in the aftermath of the Reconquista of Spain, expulsion of the Islamic Moors from Spain, the Jews were also expelled, the Sephardim. And a bunch of these Jews, Sephardic Jews, they came and settled down in Kerala and intermingled with the Cochin Jews. And they called the Cochin Jews Black Jews because they had become Indian. And the Sephardim were whitish. So they mixed with intermingled with the Cochin Jews. And today's Cochin Jews are a descendant of those two communities, the old ancient community from probably during the Babylonian exile time, but definitely before the Roman destruction of the Second Temple, and the Sephardim, who came about the 16th century AD. So that's the Cochin Jews. The Baghdadi Jews are a very recent Jews entrance into India. 17th, 18th centuries, around that time, the Baghdadi Jews came to India. They settled down in Western India. The first place they settled down was probably Surat in Western India, Gujarat, southern Gujarat. Then Mumbai, which was then called Bombay. And one of the most prominent of the Baghdadi Jewish families was the Sassoons. So the Baghdadi Jews came from West Asia, from the Iraq region, Baghdad, Basra, also Syria, Aleppo, etc. And they did not intermix that much with the Indians. They remained separate and distinct. And the Sassoons became, like I said, a very prominent industrialized industrial family, a business family, very very wealthy. They were called the Rothschilds of the East or something. Okay, and they were into various enterprises. You have the Sassoon Docks in Mumbai, which is named after the Sassoons. You have the Sassoon Library, also in Mumbai. And the Sassoons they also made their presence felt in China, in Shanghai. In 19th century China, the Sassoons played a significant role in what the Chinese call the century of humiliation, beginning with the Opium Wars. The Sassoons were prominent traders of opium and so on. So anyhow, these are the distinct Jewish communities that emerged and evolved in the subcontinent. When it comes to the the Bene Israeli and the Cochin Jews, there is genetic evidence that corroborates those that folklore that they have about themselves. It kind of corroborates what they have said. Um, and the Baghdadi Jews hardly exist in India at all anymore. I don't think any of them exist today. But the Bene Israeli, some of them do exist. The Cochin, some of them still exist in India. Most of the Jewish people have done Aliyah. They have gone and settled down in Israel and set up cricket clubs over there. Some still live in India. And India is one place that has welcomed the Jews with open arms and treated them the same as Indians. And the Jews have prospered in India. Not a single instance of anti Semitism ever against Jews has occurred in India. The Europeans, the way they've treated Jews for 2,000 years, all kinds of horrific accusations against the Jews, blood libel and what, I don't know, the poisoning of wells allegedly, all that nonsense. If the Jews are so evil and so on, like the Europeans have claimed for 2,000 years, how come the Jews never did any such thing in India? So clearly the Europeans have been lying for 2,000 years. No question about it. Interesting, isn't it?